Now in this example, I toss a die and flip a coin. I need to find the probability of getting tails and an odd number, and then the probability of getting tails or an odd number. All right, so two separate questions here. Now, I've got quite a bit of choice with how I make my tree diagram. Yours might not look the same as somebody else's. As long as you're getting the right answer and the tree diagram makes sense, it's a good one. So if I'm tossing a die, I know that there's outcomes of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I can draw all 6 outcomes if I want to, but sometimes it's handy to look at the question and see what I'm interested in. When it comes to what the die lands on, I'm really only interested in whether it's even or odd. So the odd numbers 1, 3, or 5 is one event, if you like, which is the opposite of landing on 2, 4, or 6. So I think I can make my tree diagram nice and simple, and the simpler it is, the less calculations I have to do. So let's, again, the other choice I have is which thing happens first. Well, that's up to me. I could imagine that I look at the coin first or the die first. And it really isn't going to make any difference because I can see that they're going to be independent events. They're not really affecting each other's outcome. So take your pick. Let's toss the die first. And we are either going to get an odd number or an even number. Then we're going to flip the coin, and if we've got the odd number, we could get heads or tails. And if we've got the even number, we could get heads or tails. Now I've simplified this down into 4 outcomes, which is really helpful. Because really, there's 6 different things that die could land on, and 2 different things that the coin could land on. There's kind of 12 different outcomes up there. But based on my question, I've made my tree diagram nice and simple. Now I need to write the probabilities on the branches. The probability of an odd number or an even number, well, there's half of each, so I'm going to make it nice and simple, half. Same with heads and tails. There's 2 sides of a coin, so the chance of each is a half. So the chance of getting to any one outcome here, odd with heads, odd with tails, even with heads, and even with tails, is going to be half times half. Now half of a half is a quarter, so obviously all of these have a probability of a quarter, and I can do a quick check that they actually add up to 1. So I know that my tree diagram is looking good. Now I can answer my questions. The probability of tails and an odd number, well, there's only one outcome here, odd and tails. It's a quarter. But the probability of tails or an odd number, that word or tells me I might need to add some things together because this is increasing the chances. Anything with tails in it is going to seem like a win. If you imagine it like a win, I think it's easier to work out what you're looking for. So this has tails in it, and so does this. But then anything that's got an odd number in it, well, this one's got an odd number in it, odd and heads. So I actually want all 3 of these outcomes because all 3 of these give me either tails or an odd number. So I need to add them together and I get a quarter plus a quarter plus a quarter, which is quite simple. It's 3 quarters.